I had a Zoom lesson the other day with a student who had a really bad case of the putting yips. I want to show you what exactly we worked on in our Zoom lesson together. You feel a lot more engagement in the hamstring and glutes. This is a critical element. The midline of the knee is much more over the ankle. Much deeper into our tilt. And to your credit, the flexion certainly doesn't really make a difference. The flexion is quite a bit deeper in terms of where you were before.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
If you struggle even in the full swing in the club more inside, we'd be looking at the same thing because the club wants to work at a 90-degree relationship with your spine angle. So if you're upright, the club's going to want to go more inside. If you get a little bit deeper, it's going to keep the club a little bit more in front of you. Notwithstanding that now we're starting even the full swing to do a better job connecting everything on the posterior chain where, where before this is more forward and a little bit more quad engagement. Here, by you getting deeper, we're starting to engage hamstring, glutes, and with the shoulders being down and back, the muscles right here, as opposed to the muscles up there.
Yeah.
And so where we, again, less important in putting, but where we create the connection between the two halves is just by slightly engaging the lower abs. That's more full swing stuff. But, important to talk about as well, because that's what really connects everything on the posterior side of the body versus up here and there, which is not engaged or connected. So what we're going to have you do from here is we're going to have you hit a couple putts, just working on getting deeper. Then we're going to start talking about the flexion piece.
Okay.
Make sense so far, though?
Yeah.
Joe, so far so clear?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect. And again, it's not just to say I know this feels different, but visually it's subtle, but this is light years better on this side than it is on this side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a real major difference. That's not hard to see.
For sure. And that's where typically what I would do with somebody on tour is I'd say, even for Bernhardt, we only worked on this for the first 2 months. I didn't talk about anything else.
Yeah. Huh.
I wanted it to become cemented into his psyche, at which point when I saw that he was able to accomplish this in a tournament without really worrying about it, where it became his new norm, there's a couple tests that we work on to facilitate that change, or to checkpoint that change rather, then we go deeper from there. But because, we have Joe handy, we're going to give you more that way he can kind of keep you on the straight and narrow path.
Right.
Which is really
Give us a try?
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to go ahead and get that putter in front of us. So bring it up for a second.
Bring the putter up, Mrs. Spriggs, to about belly button height.
Yeah. You want me to... So stand up straight, completely straight.
Okay.
Yeah. I want you to choke down about half an inch on that putter relative to where you were before. Good. So if you, Joe, if you can get the camera angle up just a little bit, just to checkpoint the scapula. Good. So the shoulders look far better there. Now from here, we're going to get you into that same flexion. So hinge the thighs back while the upper body hinges forward. Awesome. So it's a little bit different. On your mark. Good. Solid.
Good putt. That's been hit hard now.
And we'll talk about the hitting it hard enough conversation, but I want to see 3 strokes from here first.
Okay. Let's just try this.
Good. Just by you getting deeper, we just fixed and maybe a little bit shorter on the putter. We just fixed the conversation of distance relative to the golf ball as well. Because now you're right just inside. Right. Where before you're a little bit too far away. And that's where just to drop a golf ball to say, hey, you're too far away, get closer to it would not solve it, is by getting a little bit deeper, a little bit more hinged.
Right. And to that point, we did that. And we tried getting a little closer to it. And that's the exact method I used, was dropping a golf ball.
And you're right. You should do that to checkpoint it. But the way that we're going to get there is
right. Oh, yeah.
Hinge. Awesome. Solid?
How'd that feel? Feels like it's easier.
Good.
It's easier to stroke it.
Good. And so let's talk about that, because we also, in a way, address the path of the putter as well. Because the first couple putts we saw you hit, the putter, and again, Joe, correct me based on camera angle, but it looked like the putter was going more outside.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. And so for as long as you're too upright and this trail shoulder is more protracted, this can have a tendency of working more up, even though we're trying to turn.
Yeah.
From there, the putter is going to go more out. If we're getting hinged, it's easier to maintain neutrality, and therefore isolating the scapula will allow the putter to work on what would look like more subtle arc around the body. But all we're saying is we're keeping the radius consistent and keeping the center fixed versus having maybe two things moving. I know that might have been a little bit esoteric, but if you follow, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to talk about a little bit is the whole conversation of cadence and amplitude. And we're going to do this via that palms drill. But the one thing I want you to see, which is certainly very telling, let me go and share the screen again. Sorry for the rigmarole of these different screenshots. But here is, hold on one second. Okay. So here is the amplitude for what was your 7-footer. Here was your amplitude for your 32-footer. So
Kind
what
of hard to see.
Probably go sit in the cart maybe and get
Yeah. Since it's about noon, I always have trouble with my
here.
video looking at the screen when the sun's directly over the top of us.
Yeah.
We're going to go in the cart here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that's going to give us a good opportunity to talk about this.
Yeah.
So I was able to record snapshots in terms of where the maximum was in terms of your amplitude. So this is the maximum that you brought it back for your 7-footer.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one on the left?
The one on the left.
Yeah.
This is the maximum by which you brought it back for your 32-footer.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of difference, is there?
Not a whole lot of difference. And so which would mean that when it comes to a 15 to 20-foot putt, you feel pretty comfortable. Shorter putts, as well as, 70-footers, 50, 60, 70-footers are a little bit more precarious. Let's talk about why, because this will go back to the conversation of that palms drill as well as that cadence conversation. Because let me go ahead and show you the amplitude for the longer putt. So this was your follow through. And again, I didn't even get the maximum on the way through because this is after a little bit of a recoil. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So I would say that this follow through is a whole lot longer than the maximum of your backstroke. You take a look at things in nature, a pendulum. I've never seen a pendulum on God's green earth go like this and then go like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's adding something over the course of your downstroke. So what we're seeing with you is certainly the tendency when it comes to longer putts to add extra hit, which is certainly not as detrimental as a decel for short putts.
Right.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through what's called the palms drill to work on this a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I think part of it for the longer putts was based on the position of the spine, there was an issue of range of motion by which you would not feel comfortable making a longer stroke as well. So that certainly might have been the fly in the ointment based on the position of the scapula. So you can only bring it back so far. And so as a precursor, let me go ahead and stop sharing this, of what we're going to talk about now is we're going to go through that palms drill. And so to refresh our memory, that palms drill is when we hold the putter literally on both sides like this. The adapted version for the tour is just only holding it between the middle fingers, but just the palms is fine. Because first of all, what you're going to see is we're going to have you hit a series of putts. And that's where we talk about keep the motion itself a little bit more fluid. You can see from my hands to the putter, correct?
Yep.
Okay, good. And so if I were to go ahead and make a fluid action, this is where blast becomes really handy as a vehicle to inform, not to impress in terms of providing the numbers. If I were to get here and make some fluid strokes back and through, if I were to decel, I'm going to see that.
Yeah.
If I would accelerate, I would see that. So what you do is we're going to have you make 10 strokes. And if you can keep this fluid, you can grab a metronome if you like, imagine TikTok in your head.
But this should be Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that private Zoom lesson, as a critical part of the learning process is actually found in watching other students going through the exact same breakthroughs in their game that you're looking to accomplish. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one private Zoom coaching session with me, go and click the link or the button in the description below, and you'll be taken to my personal calendar where you'll be able to easily schedule a one-on-one coaching session with me where we will literally spend an hour polishing every element of your golf swing. And again, I really do appreciate your interest in who I am and what I do, and cannot wait to be the guy that all of your golfing buddies absolutely hate this season. So if you want to schedule your one-on-one coaching session with me, go and click the button below.